Today, we are going to make the astronaut spacesuit for our outer space landscape painting. I'm going to pick out a color of scrapbook paper and I'm going to trace a circle onto the back. You want to put the circle in the center of your paper. Hold your cup very still and trace around the outside, pressing up against the edge of the cup. Once you have done that, just kind of sketch out some curved lines for your shoulders. Now the next part is a little tricky. I'm going to take the cup and about maybe a finger space away, I'm going to start where the shoulder is, just a little bit above it, and go right up to where maybe the top of the head would be. This will be the front part of my view screen where I can look out into outer space. So I'm going to take the cup again and I'm going to draw the same kind of curve, this time a little bit in from the edge. It's okay if it's not exactly the same size of space as mine. It'll look good. Kind of draw the curve, just a smaller one of it, and then connect the ends together. This is the window in the helmet where we will eventually cut it out and put our self-portrait. So that looks good. Now wait, I gotta cut it out with scissors. So this is the back. I'll make sure I put my name on it before I cut it out. Make sure you write your name inside of the helmet. Don't write it on the outside of the helmet because that's the trash and it's going to get thrown away after we cut out the helmet. I'm going to use my scissors and I'm going to carefully cut around the outside, following right along the line. Remember, don't cut the line where the neck is. You just cut around the shoulders and then the top of the head. So now I'm all done. I'm going to throw away my trash. Now I need to cut out the space for the window of the helmet. I'm going to carefully bend the paper and snip it with my scissors in the center. This gives me a little slit where I can get my scissors inside of that space and cut around the edges. This way I don't have to cut through the outside of the paper to get to that middle part. Go around very carefully. Again, when you're finished with this part, make sure you throw away your trash, put away your materials that you no longer need. And now I'm ready to go on to the next step. So let's make sure everything gets cleaned up. Put that out of the way. Done with the cup, so I can get rid of that. Now I'm going to get a Sharpie, and I'm going to try to draw some details on my astronaut helmet. I'm going to start by drawing an outline. The outline is going to go around the outside edges of my astronaut spacesuit. The outline helps to define the space and just makes the overall shape kind of stand out a little bit more. That looks good. And I'm going to do the same thing to the window in the center. That looks good. Be careful around the edges. If you get some on the table, that's okay. We'll clean it off later. And make sure I connect that part right there. Now the next thing I'm going to draw is going to be like the collar where the helmet meets the rest of the spacesuit. I'm going to put a little buckle in the middle, some little lines for the buckle, and then we're just going to put some curved lines for the texture. Maybe it's also like the hose for the oxygen. I'm going to draw a little circle and then a big circle, and I'm going to connect it to the window. This is the little knob that will open and close my viewfinder. Maybe it gets really bright in outer space sometimes, and I want to make sure I can put my window shade up. Now I'm just going to add some other little doodads and gadgets, little buttons and knobs, things that might see on a astronaut spacesuit. That looks good. Once you are all finished adding the details, you can go ahead and clean up the rest of your materials, put your astronaut spacesuit away in the art bin, and we will move on to the next step next week.